In October of 1994, Alexander Mackenzie Secondary School celebrated its 25th anniversary. Dr. James Mackenzie, a direct descendant of Alexander Mackenzie, was there to address the students. The following are taken from his words that day. It is my pleasure to present a brief historical background about a great Canadian servant, Alexander Mackenzie, MPP for West Essex, Treasurer and Acting Premier for the Province of Ontario, MP for Lambton County, Opposition Leader in the Federal Parliament. He held all these positions in the same year in 1871-72, and the second Prime Minister of Canada and its first Liberal Prime Minister. His political activity covered the era of the Family Compact, the Upper and Lower Canada Parliament with its double majority, Confederation, the murder of his friend D'Arcy McGee, the Fenian raids, the fall of the Macdonald government due to an attempt by the Prime Minister to cover up the great railway scandal by lying to Parliament. It would make the Nixon cover-up small potatoes by comparison. The pardon and then subsequent hanging of Louis Riel, the start of the Great Transcontinental Railway, the beginnings of the Great Western Canadian Migration, which made the ports of Sarnia and Point Edward the busiest immigration ports in North America outside of Ellis Island. Up to 1,000 immigrants per day had their first welcome to Canada and to Bath at these port towns on their way to Manitoba and beyond. His personality, industry, and provincial policies made Sarnia-Lambton the epicenter of national and industrial development, a place we kept to this day now that free trade has blown apart our protective tariff wall. Alexander Mackenzie, the third of 7 living children, was born in Perthshire, Scotland in 1822 to Alexander and Mary Mackenzie. His father died early, forcing the 14-year-old to abandon his schooling and take up the trade of a stonemason. He read voraciously, but he struggled for the rest of his life with was and were, with I before E except after C. His parents, however, had grounded him well in Christianity and temperance, which guided him the rest of his private and public life. He honed his stonemasonry skills and developed his political philosophy in Ayrshire, the land of Burns. He built stone railroad bridges and culverts between Glasgow and Ayr, and attended meetings of the Chartists and subscribed to their 6-point charter: universal suffrage, vote by secret ballot, annual parliaments, equal electoral areas, payment for members of parliament, and abolition of property qualifications for members of parliament. He was deeply moved by liberal doctrines of the day, especially of free trade and laissez-faire. The Liberals believed that tariffs were designed to raise the price of bread for the working class and to increase the lust, wealth, and power of the few at the expense of the masses, and that abolition of the barriers to trade would lower the prices at home, while giving the British workers the opportunity to show that they could compete in the world markets. This is exactly what is happening to Canada and its workers since the institution of free trade. These philosophies, together with Christianity, abstention from alcohol, and honesty, remain with him and guide his actions as a laborer, contractor, and politician. Indeed, during the 1878 election, the motto of the Conservative Party was "Better Macdonald drunk than Mackenzie sober." He met his future bride, Helen Neal, in Ayr, and followed her to Canada in 1842. They married in Kingston in 1845 and moved to Sarnia, which was then called the Far West, in 1847. Their only living child, Mary, was born in 1848. She later married John Thompson, longtime minister of St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, Sarnia. He brought his mother, Mary, and 6 brothers to Sarnia in the fall of 1847. The youngest, Charles, went on to be a founder of the Sarnia General Hospital and Hospital Commission. The original Mackenzie brothers and Thompsons are buried in Lakeview Cemetery around Alec. I am a direct descendant of Charles.